Hello everyone and welcome to this video, Some Frontier video. My name is Jay Wakefield and today is December the 4th at 47 minutes past 9. And well, today we are back with the Compaq Evo N600C. And the reason that we're back with the Compaq Evo N600C is I actually got a message from a fellow YouTube user. If I'm pronouncing this correctly, Miru Tanable. Please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing this correctly. He's actually asked, will there be a separate video for the Windows 2000 install? Now I said, that's a really good idea. I'll get on it the night. Well, actually, I didn't. Been working on the Windows 98 installation, so that Windows 2000 installation has yet to be completed. And this guy said, alright, can't wait. Well, to be honest, I've made him wait long enough now. So, today, we're actually going to perform the Windows 2000 install on the machine. Now, as you can see, quite a lot's happened since I left off on the last video. I've installed Windows 98, I've installed WorkSuite 2001, Office 2000, drivers, and all that's really left to do is install some games. Oh, and I've installed Power DVD, have I? Yep, I have, and Easy CD Creator 5. So, with that all installed, it's time to install Windows 2000. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to install it by booting up from the Windows 2000 CD-ROM. And we're going to use the product key on the bottom of this machine. So what we need to do is shut down Windows 98. Now, because Windows 2000 is at the beginning of the drive, like it wants to be, it should have no problems being installed in a regular fashion. So the idea is, I think I press F9. For a boot menu. Press any key to boot from CD. Right, this is not plugged in. I was wondering why it kept going off. And the screen's brighter now. Whoops. Oh well, we found out that this battery can last a while. When I got this actually came with a dead battery, so I bought another one because I'm using this as my carry round machine now because it's got more video memory than the Armada E500, which is still a good machine. What I like about the Armada E500 is that it's tri-spindle, whereas this is only a dual spindle. But I would really like an E700. So, what we're doing now is we're just waiting on this starting Windows 2000 setup. Now, a couple of things I want to do. I want to actually install... Now, I don't know if this will actually do it properly. I really don't. Because sometimes when I've installed Windows 98 first, Windows 2000 will detect the drive, even if it is at the beginning of the drive, it'll detect it as, it'll assign it a drive letter other than C, In which case, if that happens, I probably will have to can the Windows 98 installation, or at least, well, I don't know. I'd have to probably, hide the Windows 98 partition. But to do that, then I'd have to create boot disks from which to boot from Acronis OS Selector. It's just a shame that, I can't seem to assign different drive letters. Maybe I can, actually. Sometimes this works better than other times. But I usually like it so that both systems, if you boot up Windows 2000, it believes that it's on drive C, which it actually is. But you boot up Windows 98, because the real drive C is hidden, it believes that it's on drive C. And that's what I like. So then it doesn't complicate things when installing programs. I don't have to remember to install in d:/program files. I don't have to do that, because I really don't like doing that. Or even F, sometimes it, might assign the hard drive the wrong letter and call it F, It's just like, why? Sorry, this has taken a while. So I'll come back once it's completed. Okay, so setup is now starting Windows 2000. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the recovery console first. Because if you remember in the last video, I actually formatted, one partition as NTFS and one as FAT32 using Acronis OS Selector. Now, that was only so Windows 98 wouldn't see drive C, or the partition at the beginning of the drive. Obviously, I really don't trust Acronis OS Selector's NTFS partitioning, so I usually like to go over it, format it again using Windows 2000, do a quick format. That is why I'm going into the recovery console, because in XP, I could just, press enter to set up Windows and then choose to format the partition as NTFS quickly. In Windows 2000, you can only do a full format. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the recovery console, and we're going to, select it to repair the computer, and then we're going to go press C to enter the recovery console. First off, want to see how the partition table lies, so we're going to type disk part, and it's actually doing it. No, it actually isn't. See, it's set as drive D, even though it says Windows 98. I don't know why it says Windows 98. Right, so what I want to do, see what I can do with a sign. Oh, I can't do that. Now, how the diddly fuck can I reassign a drive letter? I'm just going to see if I can find out. So, bad news. It seems I've had to actually spend the time... Well, I've actually had to delete the partition table. I've kept the Acronis OS Selector partition intact, but I've made a new partition, NTFS, C drive. What I'm going to do is go back, restart from the Windows 2000 CD, and then install that. Now that is actually quite worrying. The fact that it didn't offer to, give me press a key to boot from CD. That is really quite worrying. Right. Oops. Looks like I'll have to fix OS Selector. Oh. Well, that's it. Totally messed up now. So, So I've reactivated OS Selector. Now Windows 2000 is the only OS there. Right. Now, what I'm going to do is see if I can create a FAT32 partition. Now hopefully this won't mess up when I go into Windows 2000 setup. It's a shame that you can't actually boot from a CD in this version of OS Selector. So, time to restart the computer. Press any key to boot from CD, and then I will be back as soon as it's started back. So, now I'm back to Windows 2000 setup. The start screen says, "Welcome to setup. This portion of the setup program prepares Microsoft Windows 2000 to run on your computer. To set up Windows 2000 now, press enter." Good, that's what I'm away to do. And I totally read that license agreement. Now the C drive is NTFS, the D drive is FAT32, exactly what I wanted. I'm going to install it on the C drive. We're going to leave the file system intact, no changes, because we already formatted it. Good. Now it's a way to check drive C, and away it goes. It's going to make a list of files to be copied, what have you, and it's going to actually copy the files. So at this point I would say go make yourself a cup of tea, because this will take some time. Okay, so now Windows 2000 is away rebooting. I'm amazed at how much this video makes this Evo look like it's a passive matrix model. But it isn't, you know. Now, here we go. Hopefully now, if I press OK or Enter or 1 to boot Windows 2000, it will boot. It will actually boot it. So, here goes. Smoke test! There we go. It's actually booting into Windows 2000. Alright, okay. So what we're going to do now is Windows 2000 set up the what's known as the graphical portion, or the GUI portion. That's going to start in a couple of minutes, and what you will see is Windows 2000, and I know I'm probably coming out your right speaker at the moment, so please forgive me for that. What will happen is Windows 2000 is now going to attempt to detect hardware. See, that will take quite a while, and the display will probably flicker a couple times. So this wizard installs Windows 2000 Professional on your computer. The wizard needs to gather some information about you and your computer to set up Windows 2000 properly. Click next to continue with setup. It will do it auto-magically. So, now it's saying, please wait while setup detect and install devices such as your keyboard and mouse. This will take several minutes. During this time your screen may flicker for a few seconds. Okay, so now we're at the part of setup where Windows 2000 needs my information. So this is a UK keyboard and I live in the UK, so I need to change the system locale to United Kingdom, and I'd also like to set the default to the United Kingdom as well, so I don't have any dual locale thingies going on. Input locale, so that'd be the keyboard layout. What I want to do, click on the United Kingdom, that's appeared because I set the system locale. Click set as default, click apply, and then I can remove the United States keyboard layout, don't need it. Click apply again, and click OK. And if I decided to customize the keyboard layout, that's just the input locale screen that I was on before, and that's set to United Kingdom. Excellent. Click next, type my name. Company. And now to type my product key. I'll be right back once I've done that. So now I've got to name the computer, which I've done that, Evo N600C W2K. Now, if I was going on a network, the Windows 98 and Windows 2000 partitions would need completely different computer names, as they might share different resources. In fact, they do, and the way that they're shared is probably different in 98 and 2000. So it's if you're ever dual booting, I don't think I've covered this before, but if you're ever dual booting, don't let each operating system give the same computer name. So best thing to do now, well, what I need to do now is type the admin password, so I'll do that and I'll get back to you. So now I want to set the time zone. I'm in the UK. Now I'm going to click next. Then the networking components will be installed. Now, if there exists a network card and or a modem for which Windows 2000 has the drivers built in, what will happen is I will be asked to set these up. So, that will happen after this part of setup. If not, setup will just continue as it would, and it will keep going until Windows 2000 is fully installed. So I'm just gonna stay filming here. Just gonna film this part just to see what happened. Right. So Windows 2000 does not have the drivers for either the modem or the network card, so I will have to install those off the CD-ROM. That's absolutely fine. That's what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm just going to stop filming and we'll resume when Windows 2000 is installed. Okay, so Windows 2000 setup is finished. I'm going to click finish here, and now what should happen is I should be able to just boot straight into Windows 2000 from a Cronus OS selector. Forget that. Time to install Windows 2000. Well, time to start Windows 2000. Rather. Now, when Windows 2000 starts, I will be given the option to set up an account and password to log in. And, well, let's just see what happens. It's detected my USB drive. See, Windows 2000 has drivers for USB. And if it sees a new drive, it'll be like, oh, found it. Need to check it for errors. Right, welcome to the Network Identification Wizard. The wizard helps you connect your computer to a network. To continue, click Next. Now, Windows, so I can have it so that Windows must enter a username and password for this computer, or that Windows always assumes the following user is logged on to this computer. Now, this user hasn't been created, but I could also choose for it to log in as admin. Actually, what I want to do is have it where Windows users must enter a username and password to use this computer. Next. Right. So it's so I need to log in as the administrator. I'm going to create an account. So we'll do that now. Of course, Windows 2000 looks like this because I need to install drivers. So what's going to happen is it'll take a few minutes just to bring up the desktop. Got the Windows 2000 welcome screen. And don't want to show this at startup. There we go. I'm going to go to the control panel now. I'm going to go to users and passwords. I'm going to have require users to press Ctrl-Alt-Delete before logging on. I'm going to go back to the users tab and select add. There we go. Username. Actually, no, I want capital J. My full name is J. Wakefield. Now I want to type a password. Now, computer magazines have always said that you should set yourself up as a standard user, because that way viruses are less likely to be able to get in and work, because standard users do not have access to certain system files and settings unless they have an administrator log in. However, a lot of things don't necessarily work in this mode. You know, games, old programs designed for Windows 95 or 98. So what I'm actually going to do is set myself up as an administrator. I'm going to click Finish. Now, something that I would not recommend you do, but I'm going to do anyway, is after a certain amount of time, Windows 2000 will demand you change your password. Now, you can stop that from happening. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Administrative Tools. Then we're going to go to the Computer Management Console. And we're going to click Local Users and Groups. Double click on the Users folder. And then double click on my name. And then I'm going to click Password Never Expires. And some of the more observant among you might notice that this is the same user management console, or at least very similar to the one included in Windows NT 3.51 and 4.0, maybe earlier versions. Right. I always like the links button, older versions of Windows, so I'll make that show itself. Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install some drivers. Using the wrong disk. Nice. Nice, that's That's not what I was after. Let's try this one instead, will I? Now, Compaq don't do drivers for Windows ME or Windows 2000 for this machine. But Windows 98 drivers should work with Windows ME, and, more importantly, Windows XP drivers will work with Windows 98. Before we do anything though, the display drivers like to have DirectX 8. What I'm going to do is install DirectX 9. And I really should respond to that Facebook message as well. So I will do this while DirectX is installing. So that's me installed DirectX 9. And now I'm logged in as me as well. So what we're going to do now is install the graphics drivers. I'll install them on here, but what I will then do is install the rest of them, off camera, and then I will get back to you, once they're installed. Now just extracting the files needed. I'm just so this will install basically the driver and the control panel and everything needed to make it work. Of course, this driver is too old for the Catalyst control center. Please wait while setup installs the ATI control panel. This will take some time. Will probably annoy your neighbours. Right, so that's the drivers installed. So what will happen now? Windows needs to restart for the drivers to actually take effect. Now, Windows 2000, you can actually change from VGA to on the 2001 custom build. I found that I could change from VGA to high color mode, in high resolution mode, without having to restart, because it would activate the driver. But I didn't necessarily like to do that. I prefer to restart. A lot of people like to install all the drivers together and then restart. I personally like to restart after each driver install, especially on this machine, because I've just found that it works a lot better. Again, like I said, this has got the M4 version of the graphics card. LML3's has got the M6 version. And it's just basically, his is slightly better. Alright, as you can see, the drivers are now installed. I believe it's in XGA mode. And we have full colour. So, there you have it. Now my way to install the Intel wireless drivers as well. Unfortunately, this card does not support WPA, so I can't connect it to my Wi-Fi network. Now, with these types of drivers, these are actually self-extractables, but to be able to extract them, I don't need to run the program to extract the files. What I can do here is I can run WinRAR. This is, I believe, the latest version for B1 4.1 Beta 2. This is, I think, the last version of WinRAR that will work with Windows 2000 Professional. Seems to work fine for being a beta. And, well, watch this. So I'm going to take the audio drivers. I'm just going to plonk them in my documents, just for now. Good. And then I can right click and select extract to folder. Look, now we've got audio drivers folder. And then we can install them. So this uses an ESS Allegro card. Just the way I believe installing it. Now, just basically got to leave it to do its thing. Might not look like it's doing anything, but see, there it goes. I've just got to restart the computer once again, obviously. Yes, and this can get very tiresome. So, I mean, obviously, when I'm doing installs on my own, what I'll generally tend to do is be watching a film or an episode of something while I'm doing it, you know, just to kind of break it up a bit. So I've got my tablet here. By the way, I actually switched out the Galaxy Tab 4, just in case you're wondering if it's grown. I switched it out because it had some problems. Tried a 2. That was a bit too old for what I needed, so best kind of price performance point I thought was a Tab 3 10.1 inch. Big enough screen for me to actually be able to see the damn thing. Again, it's Wi-Fi only. Bit disappointing, but it's all I could afford. This is in nice condition as well. Ah! It speaks. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Billy Corr's profile picture.
I'm half dead right now. I am still sick.
Yeah, it's a shame. Billy's still a wee bit peely-wally. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be hearing much from him. Hopefully my laptop, on the other hand, will soon make a noise.
On your laptop, so we don't do
Well, look. So there we have it. And I'm just going to double check the display settings to see if they are the ones that I'm wanting. Actually, I'd like to change it to 32-bit color. And something that I like to do, if I'm wanting to run anything that requires the display to be set beforehand to 256 colours. Doesn't seem I can put a monitor settings icon on the taskbar in Windows 2000. Alright, so it's in 32-bit colour, which is nice. It means it'll make it look good. Oh, and I've got to do one thing. Change the mouse pointer to one that I can see properly. So now I'm just away to get the rest of the drivers installed, and I'll be right back. Okay, so all the drivers are installed, but no applications are. If we go into Device Manager, I'll put the OEM stuff in, the system properties, Device Manager, and we find that every device is installed, including the wireless module, when it reloads the machine's just like, guys, so it's actually a Compaq 802.11b multi-port module, Intel Pro 100 VM network connection. There's actually, I've got touchpad drivers as well, so they're installed, hotkey drivers, they're all completely installed, modem drivers, everything. So I'm ready to install some applications, but first I want to get Windows 98 reinstalled. So as soon as I've done that and what have you, I'm going to go ahead, install the applications, and I will get back to you once it's all been done. So with that, I will be right back. Okay, so this is part of the reason why this video has taken so long for me to upload. I decided I wanted to put my Windows 98 install back together before starting on the Windows 2000. So, you know, once again, here it is, you know, WorkSuite 2001, Office 2000, PaintShop Pro 7. I've not installed any games as yet, but I'll do that once the dual boot is fully up and running. So, now let's go to the Windows 2000 partition, because there's applications and what have you that I need to install in that. Not least WorkSuite, but also Office, but more, I believe I still need to install all the utilities. But it's all working fine now, as far as the OS is concerned, as far as I know anyway. Did manage to find a mouse driver for Windows 98, but it kind of acts a bit weird sometimes. Okay, so as you can see, I've set the desktop background, but nothing's been installed apart from WinRAR. There's a few things that do actually need installed. Seriously. First of all, before I install anything, I'd like to install Windows 2000 Service Pack 4. That will help provide stability and compatibility. And other abilities. Maybe. I don't know. But I also plan to install Internet Explorer 6, Media Player 9. I believe DirectX 9 is installed on here, so I'll just kind of see if I can find that out actually. You can find out which DirectX version you're using by going to Start, Run, type in DXDiag for DirectX Diagnostics. Do you want to allow DXDiag to check your drivers are digitally signed and logo by Microsoft? Yeah, go on. Windows 2000 was the first version to actually include digital signatures. I mean, 98 had a version of it, but in Windows 2000, that is where it became very prominent. Drivers had to be digitally signed, otherwise you'd end up with dialog boxes saying, oh, this has not been digitally signed. Are you sure you want to download and install the driver for this? And that was basically to try and ensure the stability, security, and stability and the security of the operating system. So you weren't actually losing performance, having system crashes, or possibly even worse due to bad system drivers. To have your drivers signed by Microsoft, they would, I believe, have to test them. So, as you can see, this kind of shows you a list of everything that's running. 6th of December 2014 at 5:26 PM. Evo N600C W2K, Windows 2000 Professional 5.0 build 2195. System manufacturer Compaq. System model Evo N600C. That's wrong. It's a Pentium 3 running at 866 MHz. As you can see, DirectX version, DirectX 9.C. 4.09.0000.0904. DXDiag 5.03.0001.0904 32-bit Unicode, copyright 1998 to 2003, Microsoft Corporation, all rights reserved. Good. That's installed. We can check the service pack Windows 2000 is using. Service pack 1. So what we want to do is go to, is actually install Windows 2000 Service Pack 4. Now this will take a wee bit of time. Not as much as the newer service packs take on Windows, even Windows XP, service packs 2 or 3, or Vista or Windows 7 service packs. However, on older systems it might take quite some time. This is an 866 MHz system, so hopefully it shouldn't actually take too long. Although extracting the files does take some time. Okay. So now we're at the setup screen for Windows 2000 Service Pack 4. Before you install this update, we recommend that you update your system repair disk, back up your system, and close all open programs. I've done all that, so I'm going to click Next. Agree with the license agreement. Now, if you're unsure what you're doing, you can choose to back up the files. That way that you have a way to uninstall Windows 2000 Service Pack 4. I'm not going to back the files up. Now that is an option. I can't remember if it was removed from Windows XP Service Pack 1, but certainly by the time Windows XP Service Pack 2 came around, you had to back up the files. There was no choice in the matter. And I guess that's kind of a good thing because it encourages kind of cautious behaviour. However, I do believe you can actually remove the backup files using the disk cleanup. So I'm gonna let this install. This is one of those things where you probably might want to make yourself a cup of tea because, like I said, it does take some time. I'll be right back. Okay, so now Service Pack 4 is installed. Just in case you're wondering, yes, Service Pack 4 is a cumulative update. So if you, I've never installed it on the Windows 2000 RTM system because I've always only had access to Windows 2000 Service Pack 1 or Windows 2000 with Service Pack 4 built in. But as far as I'm aware, it'll certainly upgrade you from Windows 2000 Service Pack 1 to Windows 2000 Service Pack 4 without any issues. Right, okay. So I just want to go into Windows 2000 now, which should be Service Pack 4, and there's a couple of there's a couple of actual features that's now been added, which I will show you. Which I will actually show you once we get into the operating system, right enough. When it does its thing, right enough. Come on. Just let me log on. So the first time Service Pack 4 starts, it'll take a wee while to get to the desktop, but it will eventually get there. Okay, so at first, things don't necessarily look any different, but we can tell if Service Pack 4 is installed or not by right-clicking on my computer and going to Properties, and we'll see here, Windows 2000, Microsoft Windows 2000 5.00.2195 Service Pack 4. More changes become apparent once you click Start, because we have this wee guy from Windows XP Service Pack 1, Set Program Accesses and Defaults. Now, that really did interest me because it is a Windows XP style icon, as you can quite clearly see there. However, it's not the icon that was used in Windows XP, which was more a circle with red, yellow, blue and green quadrants. Quarters that actually and green tick, but it does do the same thing. It's not as advanced as Windows 7's default program thing, which is actually a lot better and allows you to set program defaults for all sorts of programs, whereas this only really lets you set program defaults for Internet Explorer, Outlook Express, well, Internet, email, media player, instant messaging, and virtual machine. Now, Windows 2000 never came with the Microsoft Java Virtual Machine. If you needed to use one, you'd have to download one from Sun Microsystems. But you know, it is quite similar to Windows XP's set programs and accesses. But I think XP actually has a couple more options. You can actually set it to... you can actually... let me think what I'm trying to say here. XP has the option to have, you know, to kind of have a couple of... templates, if you will, so you can set all your programs to all Microsoft or non-Microsoft. So if you had things like, you know, Mozilla Firefox installed, things like that, Mozilla Thunderbird, it would set those as the defaults for the non-Microsoft settings. Or then you've got custom settings, which allow you just to basically change settings. You know, so you could have, for example, you know, Outlook Express is your default mail client, but you could use Firefox or Opera or whatever you use as your default internet client. If we go to accessibility, we find another XP style icon here, one for the on-screen keyboard. And it's not just the icon that's changed. We now have the Windows XP on-screen keyboard. You can tell this because it's the Windows keys are, well, they have the XP logo. I don't know if this version of on-screen keyboard had any other differences to the original one that came with Windows 2000, but it's there. Less of a, I mean, and the next thing that I'm going to show you is not necessarily something that you would use, you know, every day as a program. Not that you would use set program accesses and defaults, right enough, but this is quite an important feature for the time. Automatic updating. Now, Windows ME was the first version of Windows to come with automatic update, but this is, well, it looks like an improved version from Windows XP. Service Pack 1 era. You don't get the Security Center or what have you in Windows 2000. It's just too old for that. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what Service Pack 4 does for you. It just kind of gives you wee things like that. Now, all that said and done, I think it's time to go ahead and install some more utilities. And I'll be right back once I've done that. And as soon as I've done that, I'll be going on to install my programs, and then that will be this will be finished. So I've installed all the utilities that I think I'm going to use. There's Roxio Easy CD Creator, which isn't a utility. There's Power DVD, which kind of isn't, but yeah, they're there. Adobe Reader 5, Internet Explorer 6, Media Player 9, WinImage, PaintShop Pro, again, not a utility, but hey. So I'm just going to install all my applications on Windows 2000, and then I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm on the part where I'm installing Office 2000. I've installed Office 2000 Professional CDs 1 and 2. Now I'm just installing Front Page 2000. And there's something that I really do like about Windows 2000 and Windows XP when you're installing Office 2000 or 2002. See, now with Windows 95, 98, ME and NT4, when you install Office 2000, you have to restart the computer. You don't get a choice about that. It's just something that you have to actually do. Whereas with Windows 2000 Professional and Windows XP, all you have to do is let this install, and in a minute, you're going to see its party piece. You just get a nice wee dialogue saying Microsoft Office 2000, Office 2000 Desk 2, or whatever you're installing. In this case, Microsoft Front Page 2000, setup completed successfully. You click OK, and then that's it. You can use your programs. So there you have it. You know, so I can now just go into Front Page and just use it, you know. I'm just going to type my name in here. And where's Clip It? So here I can make a nice wee web page. But I'm not going to do that, because that's just what you'd expect me to be doing. So, that's just what you'd be expecting me to do, rather. I'm going to start Word up instead. And say hi to Clippy. Hi Clippy, how's you? You're right there. Whoops, I don't want the outline view. Alright, bugger off. No, I said bugger off. Off of the bugger variety. There you go. So I'm just going to lay out my toolbars. Yes, I've always been one of these daft people who has a lot of toolbars.
I hope it's not the same for Internet Explorer.
Oh, hey Luke. No, it isn't. Would you believe? No. With Office 2000, the toolbars that I always put out are the ones that come with Office 2000. Internet Explorer, you need to cut it out. Seriously. Pardon?
I agree.
Yeah, seriously. Internet Explorer toolbars, you know, I even get annoyed when the Yahoo toolbar appears. It's like, no! You just need to... See if I was a... Seriously, no. I don't like the Yahoo toolbar. Never have done. One... I know, and the Ask toolbar is even worse. I mean, who even uses Ask anymore? Exactly. I mean, Ask Jeeves was brilliant at one point.
Sorry for the 3 people who might comment that actually do use it.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys who found this video through Ask Jeeves. You're still working, Jeeves. See, I used to love it in 2000 because it was kind of like, you know, it was a novelty idea at the time. It's like, you ask this butler and then he would actually kind of give you a web page or what have you. It was cool, but that was kind of just like when... But I also discovered Google in 2000, so... You know, what are you going to do? You know, Google was quite clearly the better search engine. So, here we have it. The Windows 2000 installation is basically completed. So there's Wax Suite 2001 in here, PaintShop Pro 7, Power DVD, Roxio Media Creator, Office 2000, and Visio 2000. Which I believe was actually the first Microsoft version of Visio. Microsoft actually bought Visio. And it was... In the Office 2000 suite, it was the first version to be made into an Office application. So as you can see, I've got everything running here. I like that. Change the text size to large, obviously. Microsoft money. I wonder if Microsoft Money teaches you how to put money in a Cayman Islands account. No, I think you'd have to get the top end version of Sage to be able to do that. Oh well. Ended up waking up this morning thinking about Sage. Don't know why. Anyway. So there you have it. I've got everything all nicely installed. And that concludes the setting up and installing of the Compaq Evo N600C. What I'm going to do, load this up with games, and away we go. So, you know, I really do enjoy using this laptop, like I say. I think the only thing that troubles me is the fact that it's a dual spindle machine, not a tri-spindle like the Armada E500 or the Dell Latitude C800, C810 series, you know, or machines like that. But you can get the parallel port floppy drive if you need it. And, you know, I mean, that does kind of turn it into a pseudo tri-spindle machine. You can use the floppy disk and the laptop at the same time. Anyway, this concludes our video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to subscribe. And also, please feel free to like videos on Frontier on Facebook and view our Facebook page. Hang on, and view my blog, rather. But thank you for watching, and I hope you'll all join me for my next video. Cheery bye.